So the question is, how did you use technology in your classroom and or teaching this past year? So in other words, where were you in terms of technology?
You know, it was almost every day that we were using a laptop. So it's really, really essential for the senior portfolio class to have computers, a laptop, anything.
I use mainly a computer that we have a system in there that I have video editing. We get a chance to edit some pictures with the students that we use later on for the painting, for the black and white painting, for doing the value scales. That was mainly it.
I know that I need to become better at incorporating different elements of technology in the classroom. This year I used internet resources and websites to provide the students with access to information. It's really critical for them to be able to use online resources to develop their literacy, especially since we don't have textbooks in our schools, but also I think the students are more inclined to read materials online than they are necessarily to look at books. So I think what I've tried to do is to use the internet as a way to get them to read more, but also how to be patient with their reading, because they're really like, it's everything. So if it's not there in the first few lines, then they feel like it's not relevant. And so creating them to be sustainable readers using that technology access.
I did a few PowerPoint presentations in the classroom. What else did I use? We watched videos via, whether that was YouTube or using DVD, TV.
I was sitting at my desk doing what's called the new EIEP, which has become a real important landmark for all of Chicago. So that what used to be a manually produced document has now become an electronic document.
I used the computers only a couple times, and they were a little bit of a struggle to use just because other classes would use them and trying to coordinate checking them out was difficult. But I did use those a couple times and they're a great resource.
We used a lot of internet access for the purpose of research, maybe looking up vocabulary terms.
Photoshop, that was the main one, and we have Movie Maker, and we have Final Cut.
We used the computer to listen to songs in the beginning of the year to analyze lyrics.
My class was all about technology, especially utilizing the computer lab for students that needed to take courses online. Yellow allows students to take whatever courses they need for credits that they are missing in their credit evaluations. And so it's an interesting experience because you see a different type of classroom dynamic where students have to literally teach themselves whatever it is that they need to learn. If it be the case of they need to learn geometry or Spanish, they teach themselves that and use all the online resources available.
So did we have any assistive technology this year for students? Was that kind of a weakness of ours, would you say?
That's a very big weakness.
Yeah.
I understand that our computers have a capacity for it, but that it's not been set up, and that could be. And truthfully, I've never been in a school that did use them, but I would love to find out the possibility of what can be done with the computers that we have.
I used very little technology this year because I was in La Estancia and didn't have access to the laptop card.
I also was able to use the projector a few times. Last year I was able to use it almost every day, but they broke this year. So I guess it would have been helpful to have that resource more available this year.
But also our projectors were broken, and so I basically went from last year using the projector like twice a week to not using the projector at all.
This year my curriculum needs the computers so they can interact with the practices of the language and having some self-testing, but we wouldn't be able to do it, or we will not able to do it because the computers were used by portfolio or other classes. So pretty much we use it like 4 times.
Every once in a while I showed a video on my big Mac computer, but obviously the screen's pretty small, and so I use very little technology this year in general.
All right.
Fortunately.
No, it's true. It's true across the board.
Yep.
So in an ideal world, I'm so excited. I'm going to be a teacher next year and I have all these cool technology projects planned. They would be